Yeah. We won't bow down. Yeah. Yeah. They shut the gate too fast. Call it peace, call it class. But I see who they wave through, and I see who they ask to move. Porch lights on the same old block, same old story, same old talk. If your skin says you don't belong, they can make a wrong look strong. But the fences don't define us, and the fear they feel will blind us. Every face they try to hide still stands right here tonight. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Names get tossed like stones from a driveway built on loans. They pointed brown hands first, then pretend they don't rehearse. But the steps on every street carry more than whitewashed dreams. We belong where we stand, no permission in our hands. Yeah, and the silence won't protect you when the pattern keeps on showing. Every wall they build in pride makes the truth come back alive. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Let it crack, let it show. Every lie they try to grow, one by one the voices rise till the whole thing can't disguise. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down.
What it do, guys? It's your boy, the Juice. And as you all know, my name is Troy Bradshaw, but I go by the Juice. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Big welcomes, those of you guys tuning in, of course. Got off to a very late start, and I was skeptical on streaming tonight. Had to go drop the car off at the shop today, but my intentions today was to go out and do some flyers. However, we had to postpone, and we'll save it for another day. I think we'll probably do it on, I'm thinking Thursday or Friday. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know, man. I keep saying it and then something always happens. But we got to get out there sometime. I know AJ invited me. I didn't get to see his message in time, and I wouldn't have made it anyway. Big welcomes, those of you guys tuning in. Big welcomes, guys. So I heard Alex, shouts Alex, by the way. He went to court today. I wish I could have went, but I was at work, so I wasn't able to go. But I know some people showed up for him, so that's good. From what I heard, it was continued, so that sucks. It almost feels like they're gonna hang this over Alex and I's head, but I hope not. I really do. I just can't imagine. But I mean, it's just funny because they said that they needed to get the discovery for me, and I had got that in the mail before court. How do I get the discovery before court? But they say they don't have it. I guess the prosecutor didn't have time to go over it. So if that's the case, then they're not ready. But this is how court is. It ends up being a waste of time, and like everything just takes time. But if not, why not? If the court isn't ready to proceed or move forward on anything, or if they don't know what the decision is, why not just bring me in court then? But I guess this is how it goes. So I actually I drove by Nancy's today, guys. Surprisingly, of course I wasn't gonna stay, but I haven't been in the neighborhood in a while. Just drove by just to drive by, see if I seen anything, off, or anybody, there, lights on, the little stuff that we normally look for when we go outside. When we go past Nancy's house. However, there was nothing, guys. It appeared to be as it always is. Nobody there, nobody home, no nothing. I don't even know why I went by. Just nosy, I guess. But still, same old thing. Same old thing. I didn't even actually see anybody there, so nobody really visiting. I didn't see much visitors passing by. I actually didn't see any cars at all. It was just as quiet as could be. Maybe that's just exactly how they want the neighborhood, for all I know. But nothing, guys. Still no updates on Nancy. So they would make it 172 now that Nancy's gone missing. 172 days, guys. So we haven't heard a peep. Nothing. Nothing at all. I don't know what to think anymore. I really don't. I don't know where we stand with the Nancy Guthrie case anymore. My hopes are still high. I'm going to keep them that way, of course, and keep supporting and trying to keep Nancy's name out there. I just don't know what's going to crack this case, I also wonder if the FBI investigated people in law enforcement. You never know. You never know. But I mean, maybe they have. Maybe they, investigated Sheriff Nanos. I don't know. But I think something was done and was happening those 4 days the FBI was kept out. We don't know exactly why they kept them out, but we don't know. But, what I do know is it was for a reason. And, I don't think it was only because Nanos didn't like them. I truly think Nanos had, he has enough experience to cover up exactly what they would be looking for if it turns out to be that. And if there's, and if he's not the mastermind, behind this all, I think it would be, one of his people. He could also direct someone like that he could trust, of course, or, someone that he's close with on what to do if someone was hired to, do whatever happened to Nancy. I don't know much about the child of Annie and Tommaso's. A lot of people have been bringing up the child. Like, what if he could have, what if it could have been an accident and they were trying to cover up for their little one? I do know that he's a teen, if not close to it. I'd say he's in between 12 and 15 years old. But I think since the beginning of this case, they've kept that pretty private. So nothing has been really, released publicly amongst their child. I just personally don't agree with that. I don't believe that at all, but you never know what it can be at this point. But they've intentionally kept him out and out of the spotlight, as they should. Just because of all the speculations and the crazy things that have came about when it comes to who might have been responsible for, who's taking Nancy. I feel like we failed as a community to vote Sheriff Nanos out. And I was just kind of driving after I left Nancy's earlier, and I was just kind of thinking, like, I haven't really met one person that really doesn't agree with the fact that a lot of people want Nanos out of office. I haven't really, ran into anybody that likes Sheriff Nanos. But based on the amount of votes that we got, you know, could that mean that more people support Nanos than the people that don't? Because as a community, you know, we've had the opportunity to vote him out and we fell very short. We didn't even come close. 122,000 signatures, and from what I heard, I think it was like 15,000. I don't even know if we actually got a number. But we failed. And that's just sad. You know, and you know, it's not that, you know, we can't get another opportunity. I guess the bigger question is, will we? Or really, what would it take to do another petition? Maybe we should try it again and see where it stands. I would love to. And if there's anybody in the chat that supports Nanos, please call. I would love to hear, you know, somebody that really supports Nanos, because I've yet to meet anybody who supports that sheriff. So I would just love to hear, you know, somebody's thoughts on, you know, why they support him, you know, what they believe in as far as him as a sheriff, you know, and, you know, what makes him a good sheriff. You know, do you truly think that he's really doing everything he can? Is he just not sharing that with the public? Is he handling business behind the scenes, but not, you know, but not letting the world know? Are we missing something? I don't feel like I did. In fact, I know he didn't. But I would love to argue that point if we have anybody in the chat that supports Nanos. Apparently, we have a lot of people that support him. I'm just going to assume that because we didn't get enough votes to get him out of office, which is kind of crazy. Would this case have been solved? Would the Nancy Guthrie case even be solved? Perhaps the FBI was able to get involved much sooner. It's questionable. I don't know, because, you know, even with what they were able to dig up, it didn't lead to a suspect at all. So then again, I don't know. But there's always that question that maybe they would have, you know, caught on to what really took place in the beginning, because, you know, that first 72 hours is critical. So considering that, you know, I think I'm highly convinced that this was definitely a cover-up. Someone covered this up very good, which made it very difficult to find the truth out. The big question is, who is it? Who's covering this up? Who is the mastermind of the Nancy Guthrie case? Now, a lot of people might disagree, but I'm just saying, I think there's a mastermind behind this, for sure. I've always said there's been certain parts that I thought that was covered up. I'm starting to think it all is. Leading up to the video, the ring camera footage, or starting there. I mean, maybe even before. But you can't make up an Uber driver. And I do believe that there was an Uber driver. I don't think that's made up. But who knows? Law enforcement could have made that up. Do you even believe that side of the story? That part I believe. Let me pull up chat here. I don't think I thought I had it up. Welcome, Anita, by the way. Barbara, big welcomes here. Hunter, welcome in. He's a cover-up? Man, I'm starting to think so. I mean, who else would know how to cover it up better than Sheriff Nanos, you know, or somebody in law enforcement? You know, it doesn't even have to be him who did it himself. You know, like I said, there could have been somebody hired easily. And if it's corrupted, like I'm starting to think, and after the interview room came on, you know, as we've always thought, but I think the fact that they came on and brought some things to our attention just made our thoughts a little stronger based on what we think surrounding all the corruption. I would assume that if it does end up being somebody in law enforcement and that is Sheriff No-No, then that would mean it was about money, because it seems like that's pretty much what it's about for him. Other than that, I mean, I couldn't find any other motive in my head that I could think of as of why, Mr. No-No would take part in this, or maybe send a friend to do this. I don't know. But let's just say if it, let's just say it is, I think that's what this would be. But it still wouldn't be a burglary gone bad. But I think that's what would make those, those ransoms legitimate. At least the first two that they're questioning and can't seem to get right. Stephen Hinkle, big welcomes, and Christine, big welcomes. Christine Hunter, welcome in. Domsey, good to see you, by the way. DJ, good to see you. Carol Burton, big welcome. Sunday, good to see you. Man, shouts to everybody tuning in. Mary says good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, all. Hopefully everybody's having a nice start to their Wednesday. Sweet Leaf says best intro song. I appreciate that. Much love to you. So I think what really provoked me to get on was the fact that there's been some interesting updates, when it comes to Nolan Wells. And if you're not familiar with the story, I want to play a little clip just to enlighten us all. Not only that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the judge. This is actually the second judge who spoke out. Judge Mathis is his name. He's pretty famous because he's always on the, one of the judges, many of the judge shows that are on, cable TV. Judge Mathis spoke out today, and he spoke out about Nolan Wells. And here's what he had to say.
Back on and get your take on it. For the people that may not be familiar with the case, can you break it down?
Yeah, certainly. Nolan, a black man, went on a boat ride to a pretty much resort island, not necessarily, just a fun island off the coast of Mississippi. And 4 of them left and went and had fun, and only 3 returned. They then found Nolan dead. His 3 friends that he had come with in the boat had gone and left in the boat and claimed that Nolan stayed behind by himself. And additionally, however, and this is where the first question comes in with me, they say he left his cell phone. They have his cell phone. They had it in their possession. Okay, so if your buddy says to you, I'm leaving, you all go back. I'm staying by myself. No friends, just me wandering around. And then you see that he had left his cell phone. So you say, in the boat. And instead of taking it back to a friend who's on the island by himself, and by the way, did you ask him how he was getting home? So instead of going back, you couldn't be that far off because the phone right in the boat. Say an hour or 2. If you're a real friend, you'll drive back on that recreational hour or 2 on the boat having fun to give your man his phone. Because if he's out there by himself, no question about it, 90% white in the state of Mississippi that has a history of demonizing and black men and killing them in the civil rights era. Most of the civil rights killings occurred in Mississippi, including Medgar Evers, including our dear young brother from Mississippi who was killed, and several others. And so we know that Mississippi has a history of demonizing and marginalizing black men. And so the question became, what is the investigation going to be? Well, the police immediately accepted the version of the 3 young men that returned. Now, here you are, you're supposed to be the police. And I just deduced it, and I deduced it not just now, but I had deduced it immediately after seeing it in the media. And I'm not an investigator, I'm a lawyer and a judge, but an investigator, that is a police investigator / detective, has investigative techniques that would have immediately thrown into question what occurred, and common sense throws into question what occurred. And that's where we're at now. And there's some actions being taken by Ben Crump. I've spoken with him, and he's on top of it. And the family has the questions raised. Again, why would he leave his cell phone? Because it had to be voluntary. And then voluntarily stay on an island by himself without telling them why. A lot of questions there, a lot of holes in it, and that's what that grand jury is going to look into. That's the good news.
Yeah, that definitely don't make no sense. So why would he give his phone to his friend? And I heard that his mom, she had to find out by using an app that his friend had his phone after it was reported that he was missing.
Very suspicious, correct. And then there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's allegedly an altercation that took place, and I think they say there may be some footage of it. Some have been AI generated, various things, so we don't really know what's true or not. But I think they have eyewitnesses, and that's where the investigation should go. Were there eyewitnesses that saw any type of altercation? Is there video? There's cameras everywhere. You can't do anything without being caught on camera, believe me. And so to that extent, there's some footage out there that shows this altercation, if indeed it occurred. And so the grand jury, they are impaneled when there's a reasonable suspicion that something may have occurred.
Getting this, following this, that's good to know. So when that grand jury is involved, he said that there's reasonable suspicion. So we know it's deep, for sure. Deeper than an accident.
So that's good news. There's a reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed. When you go to the grand jury, the prosecutor presents all the evidence that they have to explain to the grand jury the case they're looking into. And 90% of the time, or over 90% of the time, the prosecutor comes back with an indictment, because grand juries only hear one side. So they're only going to hear the side of the prosecutor. So the question becomes, is the prosecutor going to do a thorough investigation and presentation to the grand jury? Because if they miss some parts of the evidence that is necessary, then the grand jury has nothing to consider. But if, as it has been in most cases, it goes where the grand jury charge has been made, it's going to go to an indictment. And then all evidence will be seen on all sides. What I don't like about grand juries is if the defense don't get a chance to present their case to the grand jury. It's only the prosecutor. Prosecutor says, we have this, that, and the other evidence, begins talking, brings people in to interview them during the grand jury process, and then they determine whether there's probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. Probable cause means more likely than not. Reasonable suspicion means there may have been a crime, and so we have to look into it. Probable cause means we believe there was a crime, more likely than not.
Yeah, and he's an adult, and like he's saying, you know, if you leave somebody on an island at that, we're not even talking about someone's house. We're talking about an island. An island. And you're a so-called good friend to Nolan Wells. A good friend would not leave his friend on an island without a phone, without a way to contact with, to make contact with him. Not only that, we haven't heard really anybody say whether or not, who Nolan may have said he was getting, who he was going to get a ride back with. And it's almost like they're making it seem like he was going to get a ride back, like somebody could pick him up in a car. Not everybody has a boat. Yeah, I get it. There's probably places where you could go out, on the ocean and probably rent a boat, but it sounded like these boats that were there were boat owned. Many, many people were there because it's one of those times where it's the most busiest time on that specific island, or probably on the ocean in that area, period, because of the 4th of July. I know one thing. This is getting real interesting as the days go on. It seems like we're learning a lot of information as time goes on in this case. And it's about to get really real soon. The autopsy is actually expected this week. Ben Crump announced, that the autopsy results from the Mississippi State medical examiner are expected by Wednesday. Tomorrow. Today. Yeah, it still hasn't been tomorrow yet for me because I haven't been asleep, but still, you know what I mean. So toxicology is still pending. The test could take weeks for that. And it's performed in Washington. So it's also, the independent autopsy is performed in Washington, and that one's going to be also still pending. Still no signs, as we know, of, any foul play. Obviously, we got to wait to see the autopsy results. But, as of right now, no signs of, foul play or trauma. And then, they also stated that there was, nothing in particular on his body that looked like, foul play and trauma. So we know that grand jury has been confirmed. The district attorney told the family they'll present the case to the grand jury once the investigators finish collecting all of the evidence. So they are ready to really move on this case. They are not playing whatsoever. There haven't been any arrests or any charges, although I think we've, for the most part, I would assume most people would agree that these guys could actually charge these people with something if they really wanted to. But I think what they're looking to charge these folks with, that, or whoever it is that's responsible for Nolan's death, if this is what it comes down to, with obviously murder. But I think the fact that, who was it? It might have been John on the interview who made a good point a little while ago. He said when the cuffs go on, people start talking. I think making arrests could be sufficient for this case. Perhaps they did, just to kind of taunt somebody a bit. But a lot of these people already have lawyers. So what would be the point? If these guys are not going to probably talk for themselves, the lawyer's probably going to talk for them. So, maybe they could be questioning that. Interesting case. There's been a lot of talk about the girl that Nolan was supposed to be with on that island by the name of Katie. Some people have came out and speculated that there's no such thing, that's just made up. But I believe there was a girl, Katie, there. Reports say that she's made a statement at one point in time, and we went over that a bit just a couple days ago. So I guess that just comes down to what everybody else thinks, but or to what you think, but I don't know. I think there's a Katie. I think she's just not speaking. I think if you were Katie, you'd probably be in fear for your life right now, or you'd be scared because you don't know that, you don't know what, your life can. First of all, her life's probably already somewhat changed because everybody's trying to figure out who Katie is. Not only that, speaking is probably going to make things worse. It's not going to help her at all. But we do have a friend that spoke out, and I'll share that in a minute, for Nolan. I think he's, I mean, apparently this kid is a really good friend. I'm trying to make sure I got this video up. Anyways, we had church service just on Monday. It looked like it was a beautiful, I'm sorry, did I say church service? They had the funeral. Why did I say church service? On Monday, it looked like a beautiful funeral, guys. I mean, it looked like it was, it just looked great. I mean, I didn't get to see the crowd, although, I think Sharp and Crump, did a pretty decent job. I don't know if I enjoyed Crump's speech as much as Sharp's, but obviously the best speeches came from the mom and the dad, of course. So sad. It's always hurts to see somebody break down like that, especially after losing anybody, but especially their child. I mean, I don't think it gets any deeper than that when it comes to losing somebody. I think that's the last person you would want to lose is your children. Your children are supposed to bury you. You're not supposed to bury them. That's how it's supposed to go. It's kind of like, they say, your parents take care of you and then you end up taking care of them. That's how it should be. And it's sad because they can't even, they're not even going to be able to see Nolan, grow up and be an adult. And he was getting there, of course, because he was 18 years old. And if this is their only child, then his mother is not even going to be able to be a grandmother. And I think a lot of mothers want that. Some mothers, dream of being grandmas. So I haven't looked into it to see if Nolan had any siblings, but I mean, just looking at the pictures, it doesn't really look like it. I could be wrong, but that would be a good question to ask Google, is to see if Nolan had any siblings. Maybe I should look that up. Yeah, he had multiple siblings, 5 in total. Wow. Maybe it's not the right person. Let me see. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong person. Let me make sure this is him. Let me see. It says 5 in total, but I don't know if that's the right person. I didn't put his last name. I mean, it says he had 5. I just questioned it for a second because, they all have different last names. Well, it says 3 of his siblings have 3 of the siblings have the same last name and the other 2 have the same last name. Wow. Insane. And I didn't watch the whole entire. I was kind of busy at the time too, so I didn't get to really sit down and really listen to it with and it's just hard to listen to that stuff. But I didn't really sit down and listen to the mom's speech as well as the dad's. I mean, I listened to the whole thing, although I was working at the time, so I didn't really get to, enjoy their speeches. But 5 siblings: Elmore it looks like Wansley Jr., Ethan Wansley, or Wansley. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right. Jaden Briscoe, Carly, and Kalisha Briscoe. Or Briscoe. Wow. Wow. That's sad. That makes it even worse. Because I couldn't imagine losing a brother or a sister, and that day eventually comes, you end up losing one or the other. It's a tough one. Jeez. Poor Nolan. They really got to figure out what happened to this kid. And I think they will. Where do we go if we get this autopsy report back and I guess there's, no signs of trauma, but then it kind of seems like there's some signs of foul play. But what would be the foul play if there's nothing physically visible on his body besides him getting shot? Let's just say he didn't get shot. What would be the foul play? Maybe he gets raped. Somebody brought up a good point, and they were just throwing things out there, and they were like, maybe Nolan was a player. Maybe he was not really with Katie, and he was on the island with an older woman, like an elderly woman, like a cougar is what they would call it. And it ended up being somebody's wife. I don't know, guys, maybe. What if it was, somebody's wife and they got really angry and did that to him? I mean, drugs and alcohol could be the result to this being an accident, and they were in fear of getting in trouble. So nobody, they panicked and then they threw his body. I mean, that doesn't sound like a strong theory to me, though. So Nolan dies on accident. The kids that were with him, which are his friends, get scared and they get rid of the body instead of just reporting it. When you got probably an adult along with several other friends around who could vouch for you to say that it was an accident, no one would be really worried or getting a lawyer because they would know for sure and they would be confident that when this autopsy report comes back, that's what it's going to be. Nah, it's not adding up for me. Wow. Yeah, it wouldn't add up for me. I mean, the mother got the phone back right away. The parents got the call when Nolan was missing on July 4th. One of the friends called Nolan's family around 11 p.m. Saying, that he hadn't come back. And shortly after that, a family friend's relatives retrieved Nolan's phone from what I heard. So the mother of two boys Nolan had stayed with the night before tracked Nolan's phone, and then she brought it directly to Christine. I believe Christine is Nolan's mom, that same night. So, I mean, that's all been confirmed in multiple reports. But Christine said the phone was recovered on July 5th, but the handoff happened on July 4th, right after he was reported missing. Let me read that again. The mother of the two boys Nolan had stayed with the night before tracked Nolan's phone and brought it directly to Christine Winsley that same night. This is, all confirmed, like I said, in multiple reports, and that's what it states. Christine said the phone was recovered on July 5th, but the handoff happened late July 4th, right after he was reported missing. I don't know. I don't know why something seems off. I mean, how does a phone get returned on July 4th, and then Christine doesn't get it until the next day? I mean, because it says that it was brought directly to Christine. So it sounds like somebody's saying that. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, the phone was discovered on the 5th, but handed off on the 4th. It was discovered. But it says Christine said the phone was recovered on July 5th, but the handoff happened on July 4th. So I guess they're just saying by based off, them saying recover that's the day that they looked into the phone. Why wouldn't they look into the phone immediately though? Maybe at that time they were searching around and they didn't have time to really look in the phone. Yeah, his mom tracked the phone. I remember she was saying that they used, Life 360, which I recommend everybody to use because that's a great app. I got in a car accident last year, and the kids, were able to call me right away. It alerts your phone instantly. So it's a great app. It'll tell you really kind of what's going on. But I don't know why why'd she wait till next day to go through it, I guess. I mean, are they pertaining to the FBI or somebody recovering the phone? I'm so confused with that. I don't know why that's throwing me off. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Man, I'm slow, I guess. My goodness. It just doesn't sound right. I don't know. Zona says reread it. Sunday says his mom tracked his phone down by GPS. Her friend recovered the phone for her. The kids that had the phone and another kid that had the keys played games with them. In what way? Like played games with him? Like he wasn't trying to get... So now I know that they had trouble getting the keys, but the phone is saying that it was recovered the same day he was missing. So it sounds like they didn't have any trouble getting the phone back. But it wasn't recovered until it says it was recovered on the 5th of July. Guys, am I reading this wrong? I don't. The mother's sister went and got the phone. His mother said this is on TV. Nancy Grace said it was swiped after the body washed up on the shore. That's just weird. Why wouldn't they give him the phone? I mean, but no, that's not right because he went missing on the 4th of July. So they wouldn't have got the phone. They said they got the phone on July 4th. So that would mean, it was, no, because they didn't find his body until July 6th. So it took them 2 days. Follow the two sources used if you're slow, and I'm even slower because none of it makes sense to me. Yeah, I'll read it again. Let's read it again. Because I'm just not following the way they worded this. I don't know. I'm just confused. It says a mother of two boys Nolan had stayed with the night before tracked Nolan's phone, brought it directly to Christine that same night. Christine said the phone was recovered on July 5th, but the handoff happened late July 4th, right after he was reported missing. So I guess she's saying that she didn't look at the phone until the next day. So, and then it says that the Griot also confirms the phone was eventually returned to her during the early search period. So I'm thinking maybe because that they were searching that time so that she, you know, it didn't cross her mind until next day. They searched for a while, but they had to end the search early that day because of the currents. And that's another thing. If you know, the currents get real ugly out there, you would make sure your friend's safe. That's not a friend. A friend's not going to just not make sure that you're safe and you're going to get a ride, or, you know, they're going to state, hey, you know, we talked about, you know, him getting picked up by so-and-so. None of that was mentioned at all from what I've heard. I haven't heard anything else as far as, friends, proving their alibis, you know. But from the moment that the parents, they learned Nolan was missing, 11 p.m. to the moment the phone was handed to his mother, it took roughly minutes, not hours, not days. The phone was returned the same night. So essentially, immediately after the missing person call. So I don't know. I don't know. Something's like, it's like conflicting here. It's not, it's like just in that short, because I mean, that was just a little particular part. I mean, and it just seems off. It just, I don't know. It doesn't sit with me well. Flicker Fade, good seeing you, by the way. Big welcome, Flicker Fade. Is it Ama? Hope I said that right. AMA. Let me just say AMA. Big welcomes. Sylvia says, you're right, brother. God going to work it out soon. Rip our sweet baby boy. Indeed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, oh my God, I can't remember his name. I'm trying to think of his name. It'll come back to me. My God, what is his name? Charleston White. That's his name. Well, he spoke on Nolan just the other day, and he was super disrespectful. I mean, like, he was so disrespectful. I don't even know if you guys want to hear what Charleston White had to say. I mean, this is the type of guy that would have everybody fighting out there. He always says something silly. He's a smart guy in certain ways, but I don't know. So maybe we'll play a little clip of that, but we won't even play that right now. I want to check out the church service just real quick. Let's listen to that speech by the mother. Pretty strong speech, and I'm warning you now. It's a little emotional and tough to take in.
To give all thanks and honor and glory to God for choosing Elmore and me to be Nolan's parents. We thank you, Lord.
Flicker Faith, thanks for the $5 super chat.
The beautiful 18 years.
I'll play the Charleston White in a minute.
Thank you for the joy he brought not only to our family, but also to his friends and everyone in the community whose lives he touched. Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him. He had a way of making people feel seen, welcome, and valued. He could lift your confidence with just a few words and make you feel like you belong. If you ever had the privilege of meeting our son Nolan or calling him a friend, then you experienced a glimpse of God's love through him. He was both protective and nurturing. He often told us that one day he wanted to have 3 daughters that he would name Sophia, Charlotte, and Olivia. He had a deep love for the Lord and an unwavering faith that was evident in the way he lived his life. As much as our hearts are broken, we find peace in knowing that our son is resting in the arms of the Lord. We will miss everything about him, from his quiet nature to the corny jokes, his gentle smile, the way he made everyone around him feel comfortable, loved, and at ease. Your absence has left an emptiness that can never truly be filled. A piece of our hearts will always be missing. Nolan, your father and I are incredibly proud of you. We've always been proud of you, of the young man you were, and we will always be proud of the legacy of love, kindness, and faith that you have left behind. In a world that can often feel dark, be like Nolan. Be the light that brightens the lives of those around you. Be the warmth for those who may be feeling the coldness of the world. Love deeply, protect fiercely, and welcome others with kindness. And remain faithful knowing that God is always with you. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all. Nolan, we love you. We'll continue to fight for you. And until we meet again, and thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Wow. I can't imagine. This family.
You guys gotta excuse me.
Composure
I might be
amazes me.
kind of all over the place a little bit. First of all, I want to say out of all my kids, Nolan was the one that would crawl backwards on the regular. Like, babies crawl forward, he would crawl backwards. And he had this crazy haircut that I don't know, you had to see it to know him. But I want to start off by saying how proud I am of you, my son. You grew up to be a very young man that everyone enjoyed to be around. The constant lectures from me about having character, self-respect, self-discipline, and perseverance really hit home with you at an early age. These were the things that I had to live through to really be able to pass down to you and your siblings. I remember when you first asked to play basketball, and I admit I was kind of worried because you never picked up a basketball, you never shot one. We didn't have a actual basketball goal. The only thing we had was that Walmart special, the little plastic one that everybody breaks in the first few days. But on that first day of tryouts, you shocked me and your mom. And just to make a long story short, you, Jalen, and Javon won y'all first championship together. Middle school was even more exciting because you were not just making a name for yourself on the football field, the basketball court, and the baseball diamond, but you were also laying the groundwork for your little brother Elmore. I nicknamed you Mr. Cool Hands because it seemed like you was catching a touchdown every game. You wanted to be the best. So I poured all my knowledge into you that I could by taking you to the gym to work out, taking you to the beach to do drills in the sand, teaching you how to watch film, how to study your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. And you carried these teachings all the way through high school and had an amazing run. Also during that time, you made a lot of friends. You helped a lot of people and you became well liked by many. It really warmed me and your mother's heart when we would get a phone call or an email from a teacher talking about something that you did for a fellow student. All the teachers love Nolan. The day you came home from college, you came in the room and you asked me about training. You would always ask us or always tell us about things that you want to do for us. When you signed with a school, you want to do this and take me and your mother there. And I would always tell you that, son, you need to take it one day at a time. During this time, you trained, you worked out. The bond with your younger siblings grew stronger because they looked up to you for motivation, especially your younger brother, which played the same position that you did. You guys' competition, Cannon, Nolan loved you, and he wanted you to do just as good as he did. Ethan, the same way. Even though you weren't a receiver, he wanted you to do great things. Carly, Jaden, with you guys being the oldest, he wanted the best for you guys. And I know that he would have did anything he could to make you guys happy. I just want to say thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for coming out and celebrating our son. Nolan meant a lot to a lot of people. And today it just shows us how much he meant to the community, to the country, and to the world. Thank you guys again for coming out. We appreciate it.
Wow, the strength of these parents. That was Elmore.
Can we have all of them?
Man. All praise to them, man. God bless them. I'm going to continue praying for the Nolan family as well as, for the Wells family. As well as Nancy as well. Yeah, that's tough, man. Seeing a man hurt is tough. Seeing a woman hurt is tough. Man, it almost sounds like he was going to be that one kid in the family that made it, you know, and he was going to do it not only for himself, but for his family. This family, you could tell, had a passion for football. And, a beautiful thing is when you have, a competitive family as well. And he looks like he had a very great father that could push him to the limit. And, from what I've heard, Nolan was a really nice kid. And, I think just based on, that, thought about him that, says a lot about who he is, says a lot about who his parents are too. Especially, mom, it's his dad, These guys raised that guy well. They raised Nolan well. It seemed like there's some really good parents too. I mean, I know they are, I could tell. That's tough. I don't know if Nolan was the oldest or not. Online, it didn't really say ages. But I mean, he had one thing a lot of people really don't got now. I think that's the most lacked thing when it comes to parents. Amongst parents, the most lacked, I'd say, is probably, a father. And, I think it's gotten better over time. And there, believe it or not, there's a lot of fathers out there and a lot of good ones like that too. Man, it's tough, and even if they're not, I don't wish this upon nobody at all, regardless, anybody's child, tough situation. Tough. So there's actually a reward right now, guys. There is a reward for I guess, for the suspect, from what I heard. I think this is true. So for any information that, leads to an arrest or some type of conviction revolving around Nolan's death, it's, I think the reward is at $125,000 right now. So it's strictly tied to, actionable evidence that helps solve the case. Rev Al, actually, the guy you see holding the mic right there, he donated $50,000. Well, yeah, I guess you could call it a donation. Tyler Perry put in $50,000. Man, this is on top of the funeral. $25,000 from Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens was a football player for the Cowboys for the longest. If you know Tyler Perry, I'm pretty sure most people do. Well, he's the one who has a really successful show or movie. Medea is one of the characters he plays, and he does many other things as well as he owns probably several businesses. Highly successful and rich man. He's probably a billionaire. Al Sharpton, I don't really know much about him. I just call him a reverend because he seems like he might be like a pastor or something like that. But he does speak on behalf of African Americans a lot. He's definitely a stand-up speaker in a lot of ways. So I'll play a little bit. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll kind of play a glimpse here of, his speech, and then we'll run through Crump's as well. I didn't really enjoy his speech too much, but I think he did a good job regardless.
People of all ages. All whites are not racist, and all blacks are not angry. Somewhere in the middle, we've got to meet and find what is just and fair.
So there's been, before we even get into this, there's been a lot of people making this a black and white thing. And a lot of people would say that it's all Crump's fault and Sharp, my goodness. I don't know how I'm forgetting his name. We'll just call him the Reverend. The Reverend here. And who was it? Tate? I think it was Tate that recently spoke out, and then he said that he's highly disappointed in them because they're the ones that really provoked a lot of the world to make this a black and white thing. So, and I agree. If you guys have been watching the channel, I've been saying that. Misty, thanks so much for becoming a member of the channel, by the way. Shouts Misty. Yeah, if you guys know me, if you've watched the channel, I've been saying this, it shouldn't be about that, until we get the results for the autopsy. That shouldn't even be a thing right now. And I guess it's kind of hard to say that I kind of get it. I don't get it in a sense of it should be happening. I just get it because of who's, behind it. Mainly talking about the lawyer. I think a lot of people in the Trayvon Martin case thought that it could have been a race thing. So Trayvon Martin, I believe, got killed by somebody that was I can't remember the guy's name. Oh my God. But I think he was a neighborhood watch who shot and killed Trayvon Martin. I think they actually got into some type of altercation after he just came back from the store. I remember Trayvon Martin was coming back with my iced tea, and I think he had a bag of Skittles, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. But he was killed by the neighborhood watch. I believe he was like a Hispanic guy from what I remember. I don't know if he was white. He looks white. Maybe he was white. Now that I'm thinking about it. So I believe Trayvon Martin was probably beating this guy up, and that may have been why, he ended up shooting him. Couldn't take a butt whooping from a kid, maybe. But he was just walking home. He was walking home, and he shouldn't have been bothered. Period. I believe he was walking home. Ben Crump has covered, a fair amount of cases, big ones at that. Michael Brown, the football player, was one of them. But another case kind of like this one that revolves around race is the George Floyd case. That one came down to a $27 million settlement, by the way. That's insane. And then the Breonna Taylor, he got her the $12 million settlement. This guy he's one of a kind. There's a lot of them, guys. There's a lot of them, but those are the bigger names that I remember. And then the Flint one as well. And that's about it. So I feel like when Crump walks in the room, he scares people for sure. I mean, a lawyer with success like that is definitely going to scare some people. Meaning, that defense attorney and whatnot. Or did I say defense attorney? The prosecutor. My goodness. Christine said, you know what? I won't even read that right now. I was going to read something by Christine, but I want to play this real quick here.
And that is why we want to celebrate Nolan, and at the same time say we want a full and thorough investigation. We don't want nothing sugar-coated either way. But for an 18-year-old young man to know...
So, by the way, real quick, Sharpton, he actually cleared the air because he knows that a lot of people aren't happy with him right now. So he's going to address the fact that that it's not a black and white thing. Yet they've been saying that for the most part.
No longer be with us. We want answers, not biased either way, just answers. And I think that for the family, the closure can come if there is justice. We will see where it goes. Some have prejudged. I do not think that it is appropriate for either side of opinions to prevail without a backup and fair investigation. We cannot say it was racist, but we cannot say it was not racist. So let's not judge either way until all the evidence is in. And in that light, let me say this, and I'm going to take a brief text and I'll move on.
Good morning, South Michigan.
Those that are so full of hate that they would send hate messages to the house of these parents. They sent one that Christine shared with Attorney Crump and I, and it accused her and Elmer of just stirring trouble and accused the lawyers, Attorney Crump and I, or they just want money. First of all, I don't get any money in any of what we do. most of the cases that you have seen us do, we help to pay the funerals and all of that, and never ask for a dime back, even if they got settlement. But since Mississippi's so special, I'm not only saying we don't want nothing. I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me. I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and
Yeah,
know
they need
something.
answers for sure.
So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. Whatever it is, good or bad, we're not going to prejudge it. But we cannot end it until we know all the facts. So all you got to do is reach out to Attorney Crump's office, and National Action Network could do that if it leads to an arrest and conviction. And I guarantee you, you'll have it before the sun goes down.
Wow.
I want to thank Tyler Perry, who has paid for the funeral. We didn't call him. He called me and said, I want to pay for that. I want to thank Byron Allen and others that have contributed, some that don't even want their name called. I was thinking as a scripture in Genesis, the 4th chapter, that passage that starts at the 2nd verse said, and again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought unto the Lord an offering of fruit of the ground. And Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock, and their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering.
What he says we need in this moment, stand by, I'm listening to this on two different things. Saying what we need in this moment is
Before we
basically saying sunlight is the
leave,
best
I must
disinfectant
hear
here. Let's listen a little bit more.
from here and the family as we pursue an open, impartial look at what happened to Nolan. May we hear from the Attorney General of Black America.
We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. We stand for transparency because we don't need law enforcement to narrate, because we want transparency, because we can see. We don't need them to tell us what they think. And that's why we need all of you to encourage people who were on Horn Island on July 4th. If you took a picture, if you have a video, if you have Snapchat, if you have anything, we are pleading on behalf of Elmo and especially on behalf of Christine. As she said, any parent would want the answers as to what happened to their child. They went out on the boat came back, and Nolan washed up on the shore 2 days later dead. Wouldn't you want answers? Wouldn't you want transparency? Wouldn't you want the truth? Wouldn't you want justice? I mean, is that so much to ask? I think so much about Reverend Al and all these cases where we champion the cause for justice, whether it was any number of young people. I think about Trayvon Martin. I think about Michael Brown. I think about Breonna Taylor. I think about Botham Jones. I think about Stephon Clark. I think about Sonia Massey. I think about so many of our children that were taken from us in highly questionable circumstances. And all the time when Reverend Al and NAACP and leaders show up to say, hold on, we want answers. We want answers because we love our children just like you love your children. Our tears are just as painful as your tears. Our pain hurts just as much as your pain. So whatever you would do for your children, if they were on that boat on Horn Island on July 4th, we want you to do it for Nolan Wells. Whatever investigation you would give for your children, we want you to do it for Nolan Wells. Whatever searches you would do on people's phones for your children, we want you to do that for Nolan Wells. Do it for Nolan Wells. Because really, if we're thinking like co-counsel, understand that Nolan Wells was the son of Christine and Elmore, but he really was all of our sons. Because if something this tragic could happen to their son, it can happen to your children. So we all have to stand up together and say we're fighting for justice for Nolan Wells because he is our son too. And they want us to be quiet. Reverend Al, Reverend Holmes, they want us, Crump, won't y'all just go ahead and, you know, we already told you it was no foul play. What do you keep making so much noise? Well, until we get answers, until we get to truth, until we get to justice, we're going to stand up and we're going to keep ringing the justice bells for Nolan Wells. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells here in Mississippi. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells in the United States of America. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells all over the world because Nolan life mattered. Nolan's 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 life mattered. Okay. Now, I was gonna. Christine, Elmo, can you all come up with this one last time? Y'all understand? Really, we work with so many.
So he doesn't have the mic near him, but look, those, I think, two eulogies. One eulogy for the celebration of life, one eulogy for justice.
The cameras are going to go away. The crowds are going to go away.
I just said that to Jason this
Government
morning.
investigation going to go away, and they're going to feel so alone, as if nobody cared, that nobody felt that Nolan's life mattered. So I want you to stand to your feet and let them know that Nolan's life matters. 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 Nolan's life is going to go away. Trials are going to go away.
I just said that to Jason this
Government
morning.
investigation going to go away, and they're going to feel so alone, as if nobody cared, that nobody felt that Nolan's life mattered. So I want you to stand to your feet and let them know that Nolan's life matters. 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 Nolan's life matters.
Mom and Dad
Let me say,
in the front there.
let me
with,
say to Christine and Elmo,
Reverend Al and
before
Ben.
we do the prayer of committal and escort the family out, I just got a text, Christine and Elmo, you know that Tyler Perry said he would pay for the funeral. He must be watching, because he said, I'm going to match you and put up $50,000 more. So
I don't know why he's doing that. Like if she's like on the freaking, this show where they change your life by, putting money in your pocket or something like that, highlighting the fact that these celebrities, very rich celebrities, are supporting them. Like, we don't really need to know we could know all these details later. Like we're not rewarding the parents for losing her son. So I don't know if I like this part very much, but I think Tyler Perry was going to help for the funeral and beyond. I mean, it's Tyler Perry. I think they got so much support. They're not going to have to pay for anything. They're going to be helped through most of this case. I think we're going to figure out details like almost right away. I mean, it's not going to be a big, long waiting game, but I don't know. It might be. That might be the tricky part, because this first, I think the first results that we're going to get as far as the autopsy aren't going to be the deep dive into the things when it comes to the autopsy. I don't know too much about it, but it seems like the two in particular, the one by the state and then the one that's being done by the family, I think those are the two that are going to take some weeks, is what it's saying. So we'll see. We shall see. But it does state online that we should be getting some results for that autopsy tomorrow. It says Wednesday. I cannot wait to see what the results are just on this first go around. And then it'll become a waiting game, though, because, let's just say they do figure out, there was some foul play on this first one. I just can't imagine, what other details will come out that we'll learn, with the more deeper dive autopsies. It's getting real interesting. It's about to get real interesting. So this story is definitely going to take a nice turn tomorrow, or a really iffy one, because we know it's all been iffy from the get-go. So remember, Tatum, he did not like the fact that Sharpton as well as Crump we're making this kind of a black thing, you know, I think, or a black and white thing. And I don't think I have that video, but I was going to play another video here. Let's see if I can pull it up, actually. I'll play the first beginning. I mean, he was upset. He was highly upset. He is not happy with Al Sharpton and Crump at all. I just want to see if I have that video or if I can find it. Let me see. See if I can pull up his channel real quick and see if it's on his channel.
So
where is it at? Where is it? I think it's this one. Just
Lastly, I ask that
yesterday.
Anybody come to make money, I came to get.
I was able to get a ton of information. I was able to see evidence in Mississippi. I told you guys on my Instagram that I flew way out here because I wanted to know the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells, because I knew.
This is Officer Tatum here, and I got an interesting video I was going to play for you guys after this. He actually interviews one of the good friends of Wells, so we'll see how that went. We'll watch that in just a second here.
Activists were not telling the truth, and they're not being honest. They're literally pushing an agenda to make money and get a GoFundMe as high as they can, then they go into the next city. I was able to talk to the boys that were involved that have been accused. I was able to get a ton of information. I was able to see evidence to debunk almost everything that these knuckle draggers were pushing, especially Al Sharpton.
Christy says, why didn't Nolan's friends go to the funeral? They didn't go to the funeral? No way. I'm sure they're friends. I didn't get to see. I mean, good question. I mean, I'll check. I'll see if we could find any information on that right now.
And the other bald head idiot. And to me, I think people owe these boys.
Or you're probably telling me. I don't think you're asking a question.
It's very sad and unfortunate.
Listen to Tatum real quick.
I don't know it. And to me, I think people owe these boys an apology. It's very sad and unfortunate what happened to Nolan Wells. I don't know if there was something that was foul play that happened to Nolan Wells. What I do know, after interviews, talking to people, and looking at evidence, that the boys that they've accused, claiming that they're racist white people, that they took him out in the middle of an abandoned island and killed him, they didn't have nothing to do with it. And it's sad that they're not focusing on.
Wow, you are absolutely right, Christine. Christine says that none of the boys attended the funeral that I believe that was on that boat with Nolan. It says no, none of the friends who were with Nolan on July 4th attended his funeral. I don't know how to take that, because I don't know if they were maybe told by lawyers not to go because of all this controversy around it, or, you know, it could have went left at the funeral. Who knows? That might have not been a good idea. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think the friends should have went to the funeral? Maybe we should take a small poll for that. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, that must hurt. That must hurt if the lawyers told them not to go and they really wanted to go. Wow. Yeah, why would they go? Actually, I mean, I could agree with that. Freckless Screen says, I agree. This is a quick money grab. Why would they go there? They're being accused of murder. Yeah, a good point. I mean, that would, but I mean, it'd be hard not to, because that's your friend and you want to say goodbye for the last time. But I understand. Yeah, they are being, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, that's still tough. That's very tough. I can't imagine. But yeah, better choice not to go. And you never know what could happen at that funeral. I mean, there's so many mixed emotions at that funeral, so not a good idea. Perkayla says, I think they were told to stay away. Yeah, I'm actually sure of that at this point after thinking about it. Wow. But as far as we know, they were advised by someone to attend. I'm sorry, to not attend. So when people think they might become a witness or a suspect, they sometimes avoid public events, which is, yeah, I mean, we see it not all the time, but we see it. Guilt, feel, or shame. It's stating, it says, even if they didn't directly harm Nolan, their actions or inaction could weigh heavily. They simply didn't care enough. This is, the harshest interpretation. But Christine herself said their lack of empathy was hurtful and telling. Wow, I didn't know about that. Important. That's important. That's weird. And I did watch the interview. Let's check that out real quick. Let me finish the rest of this real quick to see what Tatum had to say here.
Are trying to find the truth. They're trying to find an angle to push racism. Now, Nolan Wells had a funeral today, and it was very disheartening that they turned his funeral into a activist rally.
Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells.
Remember, I told you guys I didn't like his speech. I don't know why, I just didn't like it.
Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Now let's say it so his family will know they are not alone. Justice for Nolan Wells.
Nolan Wells deserved a lot more than what they provided. Nolan Wells' friends should have been able to be there at his funeral. But because they're pushing racism, the boys couldn't even show up out of fear of somebody killing them. While I was here, one kid got a package in the mail with powder on it with a death note on it to his house.
Wow.
These boys are getting doxxed and death threats and people showing up at their houses. No evidence whatsoever. I think that I'm telling you, I think the family should sue the living daylights out of them. But Al Sharpton and the Hoodwinkers went to this boy's funeral and offered $100,000 for information that leads to the arrest of a suspect in the Nolan Wells case. Roll the clip.
I'm not only
Go back.
People showing up at their houses. No evidence whatsoever. I think that I'm telling you, I think the family should sue the living daylights out of them. But Al Sharpton and the Hoodwinkers went to this boy's funeral and offered $100,000 for information that leads to the arrest of a suspect in the Nolan Wells case. Roll the clip.
I'm not only saying we don't want nothing. I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me. I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody.
Oh, we just talked about this. Well, what do you know? Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. I just got a text, Christine and Elmer. You know that.
I think he's a pastor. He's a Baptist minister, but he's also a political. I mean, he's like he's a speaker, but I think he speaks mainly for African Americans. You know, so I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they got the wrong people involved for this.
Tyler Perry said he would pay for the funeral. He must be watching. Because he said, I'm going to match you and put up $50,000 more. So we
all of a sudden, Tyler Perry just walked up to him and said that, or calls him right there on stage. Like, I mean, this must have been all planned. Like, this was, I don't know, this was kind of stupid.
Putting up $100,000 for anybody that'll come forward. We just want the truth, that's all.
But let me tell you why this is problematic. Because at this point, we do not have evidence that there was something nefarious that happened, that there was some suspect. All we have right now with the information that's been provided is that his death is either inconclusive or there's no signs of foul play. Why are you interjecting race and interjecting issues into a case that don't already have issues? Now, let me point this out for you guys. I'm just giving you a teaser on things that I've learned from talking to the boys involved in this. When they initially came out and said that it was 4 boys that took Nolan to the island, and then this abandoned island, and left him there with a girl as if it was only a few people there, they lied, intentionally lied to you, because the island had thousands of people there, hundreds of boats there.
Wow.
Some of the kids that they accused,
I didn't even think about
Warren
that.
included, one of the kids, and that's one of the kids that I interviewed, Warren wasn't even on the boat going out to Horn Island with Nolan. He wasn't even on the boat. They didn't make that up.
Wow.
The boys leaving, they asked Nolan to get on the boat. We have evidence, and we can show it to you. We have evidence of people saying they heard the boys yell at Nolan and say, get on the boat, but Nolan wanted to stay behind with the girl. Why is that? He's 18, he's grown. He can stay behind and be with a chick if he wants to, because he got hundreds of options to come back on another boat. And then they continue on in this funeral, making a mockery of this boy's life. I'll show you another clip from the funeral. Roll it.
The time when
We'll skip this because we pretty much saw this, but I mean, I think also they're this, as far as, you know, revolving around the investigation, I think where they really might have messed up is the fact that they didn't leave Nolan with his phone. And I only say that because if what he's saying might be true, you know, I don't know. I don't even want to say that. No, but I don't even want to add my comment on this one. But I'll just say I think that might be, you know, one of the interesting parts that, you know, makes investigators even more suspicious. Because not only, you know, even let's just say their story that they're saying checks out, because the story is definitely made up for sure. We know the story's not, it's not accurate. So there's some reason though why they left that phone, or that phone was left on the boat. But if he never left, that would be crazy. I mean, the island, like you said, does have so many people on it. I mean, like the kid that he interviews, which we're going to watch in a second, he says that, you know, it's the most busiest time, you know, on water out there during the year. And as Tatum said, I mean, he went down there and there was thousands of people that supposedly were on this island. So I don't know. It sounds odd because I think somebody there would have been able to confirm out of thousands of people that, hey, yeah, no, Nolan was there. You know, I don't know him personally, but I know of him. You know, somebody, I mean, come on. I don't know. Somebody knows him or somebody's friend knows him. And you know, somebody, you know, the chain just goes on. So somebody, you know, that was there definitely could say whether or not they saw him or not. You know, alcohol doesn't wipe out everybody's memory. Some people, when they drink, they remember, as well as doing drugs. We know a lot of that probably took place out there too, but just saying. But Tatum, he's not happy at all. And, you know, I agree. I mean, I just don't like the way this has got off to the start. We'll play this, video with one of the boys that appeared to be his friend, Tatum interviewed. But let me finish, about a minute left in this video here.
Answers. Well, why didn't y'all contact the boys that's allegedly that you claim was responsible for Nolan Wells' death? Why did you contact the boys? Why did you talk to their parents? Why did you talk to their attorneys? I talked to all of them. And you didn't.
Man, Tatum came down here. He's stirring the pot right now.
Well, why didn't y'all contact? And then they
Do it for Nolan Wells.
And then they say, we want answers. Well, why didn't y'all contact the boys that's allegedly that you claim was responsible for Nolan Wells' death? Why did you contact the boys? Why did you talk to their parents? Why did you talk to their attorneys? I talked to all of them. And you didn't think to reach out to them one time to get their side because you dirty dogs don't want to hear the truth. You don't want justice for Nolan. You want to pimp his name out to make money off of this boy.
Wow. That's a strong story right there based on his you know, his opinion about them. What do y'all think? Wow. And why wouldn't he? You know, why wouldn't he reach out? That's a good question. That's a really good question. Why wouldn't he reach out to those boys? I mean, he could pull every string in the book if he wanted to. I mean, he's talking to Tyler Perry, for crying out loud, so we know he'd be able to get in contact with these boys.
All right, we got a couple.
That's insane. I didn't even think about that.
We want.
Do it for no.
Well, why didn't y'all contact the boys that's allegedly that you claim was responsible for Nolan Wells' death? Why did you contact the boys? Why did you talk to their parents? Why did you talk to their attorneys? I talked to all of them. And you didn't think to reach out to them one time to get their side because you dirty dogs don't want to hear the truth. You don't want justice for Nolan. You want to pimp his name out to make money off of this boy. All right, we got a couple other clips.
Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him.
So we saw that already. I just wanted to check that out real quick. I mean, Tatum was going off. I mean, he was not happy at all, and neither am I. I've said it enough, so you guys know how I feel about the whole race thing that this is becoming. So he sat down with an actual friend, which was supposedly one of Nolan's best friends. So check this interview out.
I mean, just straight out. The first thing I want to ask.
And I would just say this right now. If there's no emotion, I'm going to be suspicious. I'm sorry. I mean, there should be some type of emotion. I get it, though. Not everybody, you know what? Not everybody, you know, has emotion when they're emotional. Is that even possible?
Did you kill Nolan? All right, Warren, we had a chance to get to know each other over the last, 2 days. Went out to Horn Island. So I've had an opportunity to talk to you about a few things. And the things that you've told me have literally blown my mind. But the world haven't had a chance yet to hear your story, to hear Nolan's story through you, through his friend. And it's not just you, it's a bunch of y'all. But, you know, some of the other guys were afraid because of the threats and the violence that's been threatened against their lives and all of the above. But you decided that you wanted to take this bold step and give a statement and, you know, get your side out here. And I want to start at the very beginning of all of this and ask you, what was your relationship like with Nolan? Who was he to you?
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in
Adrian, good to see you. Big welcome.
Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college. You know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me, and Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. You know, there's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I mean, I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together. Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right. Well, Nolan, a lot of the times was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out. I mean, and my friend group's very, very tight knit. I mean, we hang out every day when we're back home from school. In high school, we hung out most weekdays and every day on the weekend. And I mean, we were never at Nolan's house, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I met his father, and I mean, in 8th grade, that's when Nolan and I like got really close. It was COVID year, and we were in class all year long together, me and a couple of my buddies, and Nolan and I just got super tight because we'd get a Waffle House once a week together, eat, and I mean, we were just super, super close. But his dad would swing by Waffle House, you know, and like, you know, hang out around us, but never, you know, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot, but I mean, that didn't change our relationship any. Nolan and I were still just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as, you know, anyone else. So,
and walk me through the day of 4th of July where you guys were all going out.
Right.
This seems like something that I would assume that may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something that you guys did more than just this year? It's a 2-part question. I want to know, is it something that you guys typically did together, that you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. You know, being from the Gulf Coast, there's boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I, or my family and I, are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island, or, you know, people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And, you know, we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year, and he was, I mean, this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home. Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also, and like to go on the boat, not just fishing, but like to go on the boat, like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, you know, on the water, you know? And, I mean, Nolan loved to do that too. I mean, he was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, you know, have a good time with the guys. And, that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July, everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And he was always welcome to come. Nolan was always out there with us. And, but started 4th of July, you know, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, you know, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal. Huh?
Very, very big deal. And, I mean, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me. And, I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and
Hold on.
well, first I ran to my house.
Go back.
My buddy's house. I mean, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddy, and we went topped the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day. And
you say we all, who are you talking about? You, Nolan, and how many people are going to meet you guys there?
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group. You know, it wasn't just me and Nolan and a couple other of my buddies. There was 20 or 30 people spread out where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just a couple of us. I mean, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear, because the statements that are out there made it appear that it was just you, Nolan, and probably 2 or 3 other guys, and y'all are the only ones that went out to this island.
And that's completely incorrect. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water throughout the entire Gulf Coast. I mean, everybody and their mom is on the water on 4th of July, you know. There's no telling. I mean, roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision ended, until I could see of people there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island to where, I mean, who knows? I mean, and that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. I mean, there's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to go back to you guys at the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart, because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat, and I'll take you and your friends. Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit more than the audience do, because we went out there a little earlier, because I wanted to see exactly what the drive was like, what the dock was like, how far it is out there.
Of course.
But I want you to tell, the audience, like, what was this trip like? How was the waters? Did you guys do anything in between the time you rode and the time you get to the island? Was there music? Is it like a big party? Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously music's blasting. It's 4th of July, man. I mean, you know how, everybody's really excited. And I mean, we had a lot of people loaded down. So obviously our biggest, we're just trying to make sure everybody, gets out there safe. And so, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out, and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like, it wasn't like we were getting really beat up or anything. I mean, it was pretty calm.
And so you guys get out there. I'm assuming that you line the boats up, because I'm envisioning the picture of getting out there, and there's hundreds of boats. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of people. Yeah. So it wasn't just you guys on a deserted island with
of course not
a few people. This is thousands of people out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of people doing what? What does it look like when you first pull up?
I pull up, and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't, early afternoon. I mean, it wasn't, but 10:30 is, still pretty early in the day. And when we got there was already 3 rows of boats lined up all the way, like I said, until I could see. And
when you say all you can see, you're speaking about miles.
Yeah.
Of boat. When we went out there earlier, earlier today, but when we went out there, the island is massive.
Correct.
I mean, it's just several miles long.
Roughly 10 to 12 miles. I mean, it's.
So you think that the boats were stretching from one end to the next, or just a small area of about a mile or less than a mile of boats?
Well, I mean, I think there was boats all the way around the entire island, but I think some spots were more popular than others. Like the West Tip is usually very, very crowded on the 4th of July, and everybody knows that. So that's where a lot of people park because they want to be around other people. And the East End's a little more, there's not as many people, but there's still a lot of boats out there. I mean, it's not like every area of Horn Island is covered 100%.
Wow. So you get out there, y'all jump out. What do? When I say jump out, you obviously not just sitting on the boat. The island is there. Like, what exactly are people doing there? Like, are you spending more time in the water, on the island, in the boat? Like, how is that look out there?
I mean, everybody, as soon as you get there, I mean, there's people on boats, grabbing drinks and, food, whatever else. Everybody is fully prepared for the 4th of July. They bring, all the drinks and food that they need because, they've been preparing for 4th for a little while now. But when we got there, I helped my buddies tie the boats up because the tie line was right here, the Palm Beach was in the middle, and then the Triton was on the outer side. And there was about a drop off from where the bow was. I mean, if you jumped off the bow, you were probably about neck deep in water. But if you got off the stern, you were probably waist deep in water. But when we got there, we tied up, got, bow and rear anchor set, and we tied up all the boats, made sure they were good, and everyone just got on the water. And then eventually, next thing you know, it's our group. And then, next thing you know, there's 50 other people around us. And then it just grew and grew as the day came on. And, that's just how it was. Everybody's drinking, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves. And, it's a big party, basically. Big party.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. Just like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably 20-year-olds, college students, out on the island, women, you probably had alcohol. Y'all having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You guys out there, the friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age, and even people older than us were, over there. It was just a regular thing. We're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, every weekend. I fish the islands. I don't just, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James, Nolan. And I could tell you, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. There was hundreds of people I knew out there. So. Yeah.
And Nolan said something interesting. You told me about this. Something he said to you, I would say would be indicative of y'all's friendship.
Right.
And then he also mentioned something to you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking, and I grew up with Nolan, and Nolan's you know, just all, like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have of Nolan, he's smiling. I mean, like he's always happy. If I always need like a shed of light, I'm calling Nolan, you know. And Nolan and I laugh and joke a lot. Like that's how our friend group is. We're really jokingly laugh. You know, no one takes anything that serious. You know, we enjoy our time together. You know, I mean, there's never any awkwardness within our friend group. We're very, very tight. So if I ever need to get something off my chest or talk to anybody, I'm talking to all my friends. I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody. I would go out, like even if I'm having issues with something, I go talk to my group chat, and my guys are there to, you know, give me a hand anytime I need it. And all my guys are, you know, all my buddies are the same exact way. You know, Nolan was the same exact way. If you ever need something, I'm here, man. Like that's how he was. So.
And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So
I'm trying to find this video. I'm sorry, guys. I was quiet for a second. Need to put an air tag on Juice. All right, so real quick, I'm going to play this video, then I'm going to get off here because it's getting super late and I got work tomorrow. So this is a friend that was interviewed here.
So Warren, I'm gonna ask you some very pointed questions.
Did I say the friend? I want to play the part where he was asking him if he was murdered, because I missed that part. I don't know, I didn't hear him say that at all. He asked that question in the beginning. What part did he ask the question, guys?
You probably had alcohol,
Of
so
course,
y'all having
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. They, in a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age, and even people older than us were, you know, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, you know, every weekend. And like, I fish the islands. I don't just, you know, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and, you know, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James, Nolan, and I mean, I could tell you, I mean, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was.
Yeah, what part did he ask him if he killed him at all, though? I'm not trying to watch, I'm not rewatching it. I just want to see the part where he asked him if he killed him.
That serious, you know, we enjoy our time together, you know. I mean, there's never any awkwardness within our friend group. We're very, very tight. So if I ever need to get something off my chest or talk to anybody, I'm talking to all my friends. I'm not just talking to like specifically anybody. I would go out, like, even if I'm having issues with something, I go talk to my group chat, and my guys are there to, you know, give me a hand anytime I need it. And all my guys are, you know, all my buddies are the same exact way. You know, Nolan was the same exact way. If you ever need something, I'm here, man. Like, that's how he was. So.
And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying, and
Correct.
they're having a good time. But something happened to where it necessitates.
Yeah, I see that there's going to be a part 2 coming for sure. So he didn't ask that?
Most of everybody. And
what?
3 boats full of people that came out there that seemed to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where is Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and
Bro, that's crazy.
everybody, as soon as you get there, I mean, there's people on boats, yeah, grabbing drinks.
I don't know. My thing is, I just don't understand why this kid is not emotional at all. I mean, if that's your best friend and you just lost your best friend, wouldn't you be emotional? He asked him if he murdered him in the beginning? No, he didn't. No way.
Through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college, you know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face.
Oh, he did not ask him that question. No way. Well, that's what he didn't say he was his best friend, but that's what he titled it. So maybe he's just clickbaiting on the title, and I don't know. But he appears to seem like he's a very close friend. I mean, he said that they never really went to his house. But I mean, he seems like he's claiming to be a very close friend rather than just a friend. I mean, he did say in 8th grade, that's when they became really close. So I think that's pretty much saying he's a best friend to me. But that's just me. So a lot of people have been asking about Katie. Everybody keeps asking, where's Katie? Where's Katie? Where's Katie? Some people are saying that it's not even true. Man, I don't know. I truly think that the Katie girl exists, though. She definitely exists. I'm just trying to find this other video. But I may end up just getting off here because I'm over here falling asleep. I am exhausted.
Space. He always had.
I want to see if I can find this other video, but I don't think I had it up, so we probably won't. Why wouldn't he just play the whole video? This is like real life. Like, why are we waiting for him to come out with another video of him talking to Nolan's friend? You kidding me? All right, just real quick, and then we'll get off here.
Messages deleted after his body washes ashore. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
"18-year-old football star Nolan Wells heads to Horn Island with his friends to celebrate the 4th of July.
I'm gonna skip this
but
up.
hours later, after he doesn't return to shore.
Let's skip this.
Met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out, was at Horn Island on July 4th.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
From our friends at
Flicker, thanks for the jewel, by the way.
everyone was not on board. Nolan was not on board. And who's the mysterious girl he met for the very first time the day he goes missing? His body spotted by the United Cajun Navy, washed ashore. We have obtained that photo. We are choosing tonight not to show it. That last sound from our friends at NBC joining me in all-star panel, but first straight out to Todd Terrell, representing the United Cajun Navy, participating in the water search for Nolan Wells. Todd, thank you for being with us. What did you observe?
You know, Horn Island, that area right there is an area that we have seaplanes that we operate back and forth to the island, taking people back and forth fishing, or oil field workers, you know, back off to rigs and stuff. That morning, the body was observed on the northwest portion of Horn Island, which is not unusual for someone to drown and be washed up in that area. There was a park ranger that was on the island that actually had spotted the body, and we were calling in down to law enforcement officials on the ground what we saw from the air.
Todd Terrell joining us from the United Cajun Navy, called in to participate in the water search for this young star athlete, Nolan Wells. Tonight, mystery swirling around his death. How is it that a group of his friends go out on a boat, they go to a remote Horn Island?
So you guys think they're trying to get money out of out of pretty much out of this that they can get? They don't really care about Nolan or, care about justice. You think it's all just about money, that they're making this whole thing up just so they could get some money out of it? That's interesting. I see some comments stating that for the most part. Miss Big Welcomes, good morning.
Island. There is nobody there. It's uninhabited. There are no phones. There are no bathrooms. It's just a hangout place. How does he end up dead on the shore and everybody else makes it back? I want you to hear one more time what the group is saying about that day.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they've ever hung out, was at Horn Island on July 4th.
From our friends at GMA, who is she? Where is she? What, if anything, did she have to do, if there is a she, with Nolan's death? That's from our friends at GMA. Back to you, Todd Terrell. And I'm about to go to Caitlin Becker, a senior national correspondent, New York Post, on the story from the get-go. Todd, you stated to me that it's, quote, not unusual for bodies to wash ashore in that spot. What do you mean by that? Because if it was that common, wouldn't this be designated a dangerous area and there would be warning signs? What do you mean it's not unusual? I find that hard to believe.
Well, many areas along the coast of the whole Gulf Coast area is a dangerous area. I don't believe they could put up signs anywhere. I think it should be known that these are bad areas. The rip current is very bad in that northwestern portion. We call it the washing machine, actually. It's an area where the current just rolls round and round in there, kind of like a washing machine.
Wow.
One of the interesting things was
That's really good to know.
Was found was probably pretty close to where the incident occurred. So the body didn't go that far.
Okay, what incident? Was there an incident? Are you suggesting Todd Terrell, joining us tonight from the United Cajun Navy? Our friends, by the way, at the United Cajun Navy. They are called in on many, many missing persons case. Todd, you stated the incident. What incident? You mean he didn't drown?
We're saying that whatever happened, we're calling an incident. Our job as United Cajun Navy is to bring people home back to their families, first of all, alive. Second of all, recover the body if possible. We knew in this case, the time frame that was involved, that we were looking for a recovery at this point. But when I said the incident, something happened to make Nolan not be with us anymore. It appears as though it was a drowning. There was a lot of rumors about him being brought back to the land 10 miles away and brought back out there.
I wonder if this is the specific guy who discovered his body, because I believe it was somebody in the Cajun Navy that discovered his body. Yeah, and that's another thing I was thinking of. His body shouldn't be in the water at all, whatsoever. So that's how just thinking about that one thought tells me that there's something that went wrong here.
Dumped off. I don't believe any of that is true. Whatever happened in that water, we're calling the incident. The water goes from 2 to 3 foot to like 20 feet real quick. There was some underage kids out there drinking. It's an island. There's no IDs being checked or anything like that. So we said an incident, there's anything that could have happened. And not every person that drowns do you hear screaming and hooping and hollering. But at this point, our job was to bring Nolan home, and we did that.
What was observed? Guys, you're seeing...
What did they just show?
What was observed? Guys, you're seeing right now...
Screaming and hooping and hollering. They're drinking. It's an island. There's no IDs being checked or anything like that. So we said an incident, there's anything that could have happened.
Man, look at how deep they are in the ocean, guys. Imagine getting back home from there. I mean, what's this, like 4 to 5 miles out from the actual dock? It looks like you're in the middle of nowhere, and that's a good distance in the water. Sheesh.
And not every person that drowns do you hear screaming and hooping and hollering. But at this point, our job was to bring Nolan home, and we did.
What is that he's showing? Are those are these are the boats that are pulling up, at that particular area, I'm assuming.
What was observed? Guys, you're seeing right now from our friends at the United Cajun Navy the video taken from their aerial craft. On the beach, you see a grouping of individuals. Now, from another source, we have obtained photos of Nolan's body that we are not showing.
No way, Nancy. No way. She said they've obtained photos of Nolan's body that they're not showing. No way. That's crazy. I'm obviously not going to show that as well, but I didn't know they had pictures, going around like that. Interesting. If anybody had I don't even want to see it. Don't even send it to me.
It's just not.
So if anybody has a picture of Nolan's body, don't send
When
it.
you see that grouping of people on the beach, they look like little ants.
It'd be good to know.
That is where Nolan's body is. You're standing around it. As I recall, Todd Terrell, Nolan was face down.
So I'm assuming, what he's saying is, they were, and I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but they may have been over in this area on the left side then. So if Nolan's body is from what it looks like here, it looks like this is the area that Nancy's talking about. If that's the case, then I'm assuming that his body must have been found like over here, or I'm sorry, the party or whatever was taking place must have happened somewhere in this area that they're not showing here. Dang, man, that's a long island. Look at that. But right in here, you'll see some people down there. You could tell these people on these, boats. And like Nancy said, they look like little ants. So I guess that's the area where where the body was found. It's very interesting.
Still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he drowned. Now, when we say he was found fully clothed on the beach, it was in the same vicinity of where he possibly drowned, right there. So it was not uncommon for the body to have washed up right there. That being said, that area full of rip currents really strong right there goes from 2 to 3 foot to 20 feet pretty much within a couple steps. So that being said, whatever happened really, really close to where the body was found.
Todd Terrell, I don't mean to be giving you a hard time. This is not about you. The United Cajun Navy are the protagonists in this scenario. You're the good guys. I've just got so many questions about how this happened. Was there anyone else on Horn Island when Nolan's body was found?
Now, there was the park ranger was out there, and there was some law enforcement officials that actually had their boats anchored out there. They were kind of like waiting around for a call of what to do. What people don't realize is when you're looking for a body on the water, especially in the Gulf where you have waves going and you have white caps, it's a little bit harder to see. When you're in a boat, you can only kind of see the vicinity around you. So we put these seaplanes up in the air, we can get a much more visual of the much more bigger area. And these seaplanes can go low and slow. So what we do is we stay in contact with the officials on the ground and tell them what we see. And if they see something too, they can relay it up to us and we can go investigate it. So in this case, there were several law enforcement boats that were just kind of hanging out in the area on the island. And there was numerous other boats in the area, circling and looking. But the body was found by a park ranger as it washed up.
Oh, so by a park ranger. That's what it was. I couldn't remember.
Guys, joining us, Todd Terrell with United Cajun Navy. When I said, was anyone else on the island, when Nolan's body was found? Your answer was completely 100% accurate, but let me rephrase and refine my question. You're saying the park ranger found him. That leads me to believe there were no friends, there was no newly met girlfriend. So am I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies and then just conveniently washes ashore? Somebody just left him out in the water? Does that make sense to you, Todd Terrell?
Well, you know, being a person that goes to this island and several other areas that you can only get to by boat. We have some restaurants and bars in Louisiana that you can only get to by boat, which means you have to hitch a ride with somebody on a boat or that has a boat to get there, which a lot of things could go wrong in that scenario. But as far as what we believe, I believe that Nolan went out there with a group of friends. They were friendly, obviously so, because he was even out there. I mean, you got to understand, to go to an island, you have to have a boat, which means you have to have friends, which you have to have people that kind of like you to even bring you out there.
I keep saying
When
this.
Nolan got out there, the group of guys he was with, you know, they decided to come in a little bit earlier. They were having some engine trouble on their boat, which is not uncommon. Happens a lot. Nolan, for whatever reason, decided to stay on the island, which is not uncommon. He could have, you know, had this girl he was talking to. He could have just, for whatever reason, decided to stay. Not uncommon. That doesn't give us any reason to think foul play or anything was involved there. The issue is when he stayed on the island, he had to hitch a ride back in with somebody. And there's where the issue becomes.
Yep.
Who did he hitch a ride back in exactly? How were these people connected to him? How did they know him? And it's not uncommon for you not to know somebody at all and just say, hey, I need a ride back in. And they say, yeah, come on, get in the boat with us. So if I say, hey, Nancy, come on, get in the boat with us, that means at that point we're responsible for you.
But Todd, here's my issue. Again, I agree with what you said, but the critical moment is somebody had to leave him there alone for the rest of the scenario that you're describing to unfold. He had to be alone. And Todd, and I'm going to bring in the rest of the panel, I want you to hear this. That is
He's saying, get off my effing boat.
from Anna Moore on
And then he also, before that, he says, what the F you doing?
to their old here.
Did he say, it sounds like the boat. I mean, they put phone, but sometimes the caption will pick up other. They won't get it right. It'll say something else. Who's that kid walking? Oh, why does it look like Nolan right there in a shirt or something like that? Is that Nolan maybe walking over that way? Nah, I mean, that guy's got too much built on him to be Nolan. Did somebody in chat say, yeah, that's Nolan? Yeah, they keep saying that was him yelling. And he even came out himself saying that was him yelling, actually. That's why a lot of people are saying that it's him.
That is from Anna Moore on Snapchat, and you have to listen very intently to hear what she claims is being said. Todd Terrell, United Cajun Navy, please don't move. Joining me now, Caitlin Becker, the senior national correspondent, New York Post. She is the star of New York Post Cast. New York Post Cast. That's her podcast. Caitlin, thank you for being with us. Now, according to what this Anna Moore on Snapchat has revealed, you can hear, and this is also according to the attorneys, "Give me my effing phone." This is Nolan reportedly talking. "What the F are you doing?" The friend, they claim, Tristan Shepard. I can't tell that from what I'm hearing. The friend says, "Get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you, bro." Now, the voice we believe is Nolan's is, "Give my effing phone. What the F are you doing?" And then another voice, "Get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you." Okay. What do we know? And Caitlin Becker, joining us from New York Post, who is this mysterious friend girl? Because I want to talk to her.
I want to talk to her too, Nancy. The video is tough. The Snapchat is really tough because you do clearly hear an angry altercation. There is the assumption that we're working off of that it is Nolan. However, a few other friends have confirmed it's not Nolan. There's actually someone who said it was me, not him. So you have someone coming forward saying that is not him on the video. So then did no altercation actually take place, or is someone jumping in saying that's me to misdirect or to redirect us from looking at it? That's the one question. The other question that you asked is, who's the girl? Her name is apparently, allegedly, Katie. That's kind of all we know, just Katie. Someone purporting to be related to Katie went on social media, and this is not something that we've been able to confirm, nor have investigators confirmed it. But according to this person, Katie said, "We met, we talked, he seemed like he was going back on the boat with his friends, and that was that." So Katie,
Okay, hold on
Katie's
right
side of the
there.
story-
Caitlin Becker. Caitlin. Right there. The girl, if she exists, says they talked, they chatted it up, probably flirting with each other, if accounts are true. Then he leaves to go back to the boat with his friends. But according to the friends, he stayed with her. Right there, that is a conflict. That doesn't fit. Now, Caitlin Becker and the rest of the panel, I want you to hear this.
Is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
Okay, so you've got, that's from our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ. So you've got half the people saying that is Nolan that's in an altercation and is getting thrown off the boat. And then you got half the people going, "Oh, no, that's not him." But to me, the clear problem is that critical moment where Katie, if she exists, says he went back with his friends, and the friends say, "Oh no, we left, he wanted to stay with her." Right there, that is the first conflict. Both cannot be true. Those cannot mutually exist in truth. They're mutually exclusive. He can't go with them and stay with her on Horn Island. Right there, John Mobley joining me, high-profile lawyer out of Charleston, South Carolina. John, that's where it starts, that lie. I don't know who's lying, but somebody's lying. Right there, Mobley.
Well, I don't know that I would necessarily agree with you on that. I think they can be both partially true depending on perspective. I think one thing we have to kind of keep in mind with this is we have a lot of different people telling things from different perspectives, from their own individual perspectives. It's certainly conceivable that he let his friends leave to stay with the female, if he was with the female, assuming that happened. And once he finished his communication or whatever he was doing with the female, told her he was leaving to go back with his friends. And from her standpoint, he said he was going back with his friends, which did not necessarily mean they were the same friends that dropped them off. So I would disagree with you on that.
Hold on, Mobley. Let me see Mobley. Mobley, you're right. Because, as I've told many, many juries, as a trial judge once always said in his jury instructions, It is your duty to make all witnesses speak the truth and impugn perjury to no one. So actually what you're saying could be true. If there's another group of friends, if they exist, we haven't heard about them. But you're saying he left with one group and had planned to come back with another group. Okay, I don't know if you're just spinning that out, but that could be possible. Okay, Mobley, listen to this.
You said that you hear on the video Nolan saying, "Give
Yes.
me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?"
That's what a witness told us, and that's what we reported out. Then another witness had come forward and said, no, that was his voice. We have other witnesses who said there were other altercations. So, as Mr. Hurt said, we're trying to go through it all and so forth. And we'll be even more careful to say this is what a witness told us in the future.
That's just crazy.
Now, we have audio people doing it.
And that's pretty much how this case has gone. I mean, it came down to he said, she said, and you know, a lot of the he said, she said is kind of turning out to not add up because everybody's stories seem to be different, which is rather interesting in this case. I mean, was it a murder? Was it a mistake? Did he get in a fight and maybe fall into the water, or somebody pushed him into the water? Even if they did, why wouldn't they get in there to help him out? You know, let's just say he got into a fight, he got pushed into the water, and that happened. But here's the thing. When you go back and you look at that picture of, you know, when Nancy was showing them out there, I don't really see a particular part of the island where it seems like, you know, it would be deep when you know, first get to the island, when you're right next to, you know, that part that looks kind of like dirt. I don't know if it's deep at all around the edges. You know, I would assume not, because there's something there. So maybe there it's just, you know, I don't know. That's just weird. I mean, so that just would tell me that at some point in time he had to get thrown out in the boat because a fight took place on the boat. But I mean, it doesn't seem like you have to get very far away for you to end up, you know, in the water, or underwater, I should say. So I don't know. I mean, interesting though. Something to think about, that's for sure. But surrounding the actual island, it seems like you would be able to stand on the water that's closest to the island, is what I'm saying. I don't necessarily know how far you would have to go out to where you're at risk of maybe at the end of the island of, you know, just falling actually in the water and, you know, going under it. Because we know the water in the ocean is deep, especially when you're that far out. I don't know. I think the fight took place in that boat, though. It had to have. And he was, you know, thrown out the boat after a fight. Yeah, that's interesting. User, I don't know what's going on in the chat. I mean, what's going on, guys? Dang. What happened? Shouts made in the UK, yeah. I haven't seen her tonight, or I think she was here the last stream, though. I've been following Juice longer than you have, so get me off. What's going on, guys? What I miss? I think Maid was going to start streaming pretty soon too. Hey, much love. Matt's just sitting here at the hospital waiting for Daddy to come back and from getting his blood work done today. Watching you, Juice. Much love, Matt. I appreciate that. And like I said, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna hop off. It is 5:30 a.m. I work in about 3 hours. I'm gonna try to get some rest. I already fell asleep once. I don't want to fall asleep here again. I am exhausted. Oh my God, I'm done. So big shouts to those of you guys stopping by and tuning in. I'm gonna try so hard to make it out here later today, because I want to do some flyers. So I really want to get out here. If I don't make it out here today, I'm for sure going Thursday. I have no choice. I got to get out there because I'm way past due. But shouts to all you guys plugging in tonight. I hope everybody has a good morning. If you have work this morning or you're at work, I hope you have a good day at work. Much love to you all. I hope to see you guys in the next one, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in here. I'm out. It's your boy, the Juice. And I'll see you guys all in the next one, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. They shut the gate too fast. Call it peace, call it class. But I see who they went through, and I see who they asked to move. Porch lights on the same old block, same old story, same old talk. If your skin says you don't belong, they can make a wrong look strong. But the fences don't define us.
Peace.
And the fear they feel will blind us. Every face they try to hide still stands right here tonight. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Names get tossed like stones from a driveway built on loans. They pointed brown hands first, then pretend they don't rehearse. But the steps on every street carry more than whitewashed dreams. We belong where we stand, no permission in our hands. Yeah, and the silence won't protect you when the pattern keeps on showing. Every wall they build in pride makes the truth come back alive. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Let it crack, let it show. Every lie they try to grow, one by one, the voices rise.